Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and welcome to our channel today. I appreciate y'all being here. And if we're new to the channel, if you're finding us that very first time, welcome as well. It's great to have you. And before we get into our topic here today, just a quick reminder that my focus, my mission here on the channel is I want to be able to provide as much information as I can to as many people as I can, across all regions. And the best way I can do that is when you choose to subscribe to the channel, when you choose to like the videos, when you choose to offer comments. And we love to hear from you, your thoughts and even topics that you'd like to see discussed are great. And then also when you choose to share the information with friends, associates, and colleagues. So if you're not yet subscribed, right now is a good time to do it. Hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it. And then to learn more about me, learn more about my company, and how we can help take your business that next level, and additional ways you can choose to support the channel, check out those links below. And with that said, let's get into our topic here today, and it's how to coach underperforming gym sales reps. How to coach underperforming gym sales reps. And this to me is one of the more crucial things, because what happens when sales reps start to underperform, and many times they've got one foot out the door, or either they do or we're going to give them one foot out the door. And really what we'd like to do is, let's keep our staff. The more experience we can have, the more depth we can have, the better we're going to do. We want to limit that churn. And what we really want to do, at least I want to suggest you do this, is if you ever lose a person, really look at it and say, hey, did I fail them or did they fail themselves? And I really hold myself to a higher level of accountability on this. What could I have done differently to help make this person better? Because anyone that's working for us, okay, if I'm running a club, if I own a club, if you do, what is our responsibility? We need to give 100% of ourselves to make that person as good as they can possibly be. That's our job. We need to give 100% of us to make them as good as they can be. It doesn't always happen. So evaluate it. It's the same thing, when we're doing the sale, we're accountable. The customer is not accountable. Let's make us accountable. So how to coach underperforming gym sales reps. Okay, so number one on my list is ask open-ended questions that allow sales reps to self-evaluate. Okay, ask open-ended questions that allow sales reps to self-evaluate. So here's one of the ways that I like to do this. We actually have created, it's a self-evaluation form. We've got all the questions on there, and we'll hand it to the rep. We'll give them that form to evaluate themselves. Then we'll take it, and we'll look at it and go, okay, do we agree, do we disagree? And then we'll sit down and discuss this with them. Now, let me tell you why we chose to do that. What we found is that in many cases, what we were seeing, they were seeing it too. And there's a lot of folks who are in management, if you're in management, a lot of folks that are in management, they're uncomfortable with this. Okay, they're uncomfortable doing this kind of thing. Or they're a little too, rough around the edges doing it. Okay, or maybe they're not direct in a nice way. Okay, and so we found that having the rep fill out the self-evaluation form made it much easier to talk about. And over the years it's worked incredibly well, and it's really got people to kind of open up. And the key thing on this is we want to make sure it's a safe environment. I want those reps to feel comfortable, and hey, if they're not feeling good about this, feel free to say it. We're not going to jump down your throat about it. We're here to kind of help you and coach you up. Now, one of the things we're going to do here for you folks that are channel members, and I haven't really mentioned that for a while, but you can actually join the channel and just click that join button there, and it'll prompt you. But you can join the channel, and I'm going to actually put out there the actual self-evaluation form. So if you're a channel member, you'll be able to grab it on the site. So we want to ask open-ended questions that allow sales reps to self-evaluate. Number two, conduct a comprehensive review of sales rep skills. Conduct a comprehensive review of sales rep skills. Okay, and it's no different than when I go into a club or a company and we're going to do a turnaround. We'll do it at the business level, but we'll also do it at the sales rep level. Okay, we want to do a comprehensive review. Okay, and maybe we start with, okay, let's go through the telephone inquiry. How are we handling that? Okay, and one of the things I find is they don't really have a script, and if they do have one, they don't use it, they don't know it. And what's always interesting, and part of this is just the training mindset a little bit, is I want them to memorize that script. And the ones that are pushing back a little bit, say, well, I don't want it to sound like a canned thing. But the reason you memorize something is so you're free to be yourself. That's what they teach you in the theater, right? When you're on stage, you memorize your script so you're free to be yourself. You don't have to think about it. Okay. And so I want them to memorize that script, because we start controlling incoming leads a lot better. Things change in a great big hurry. Okay. And how do we book it? When do we book it? How do we follow up with it? We're going to review the sales process. What process are they using? Okay, what's their membership presentation look like? What does the second sale look like? What does the third sale look like? How are they doing on referrals? What's our lead collection look like? What's our outbound follow-up call look like? How do we confirm appointments? Do a comprehensive review on all of that. Okay, and these are things that I do when we go into clubs to help them get back on track, because really what happens, and I know I've mentioned this before in some other sessions, is I view this as this is a train going down the track. Okay, and what our job is we want to pat it a little bit here, and we want to pat it a little bit here, keep that train going straight. Well, what happens if you're not performing, the train has gone this direction. Sometimes it's gone clear over here, but the train is off. We need to get the train going back over here. And many times it's not a big overhaul. It's just pat it a little bit here and pat it a little bit there. So do a comprehensive review of sales rep skills. And role playing is a great way to do it. I remember we had a club one time. We had one of the gals who worked there. She was really good, and she liked working that morning shift. She worked like 5 to 2. That was her thing. And she was so good, she kind of carried the club. If she did well, the club did well. If she didn't do well, the club didn't do well. Okay, she just really kind of dominated. And she was in a slump and wasn't producing, and a little bit of a concern. And so I actually went out to meet her, and I'd known her for a while. This was someone I knew and had helped recruit there. And so I asked her to give me her membership presentation. I said, let's just start there, because she was having some troubles and difficulties kind of in the closing aspect of all this and getting it done. And I said, hey, would you mind role playing? Just give me your presentation like you normally do it. And she goes, no, I'd be happy to. So she starts doing it, and she's about halfway through, and she just sets her pen down. She goes, you know what? I know exactly what I've been doing wrong. I'm good. And with most folks, I would have kind of dug a little deeper. With her, I knew her pretty well, believed her, trusted her, and sure enough, just right back up. Because a lot of times it's just little bitty things, okay? But we have to be able to identify them, because you want to identify, as the old saying goes in marketing, you want to identify a problem before it becomes an emergency, okay? And number 3, identify the root cause of the problem. We're talking about how to coach underperforming gym sales reps. Identify the root cause of the problem, okay? And I'll go back to when I very first started, and I struggled mightily, okay? And part of it was I hadn't been trained. I mean, eventually I kind of trained myself, and I ended up memorizing a book about that thick, okay? And off I went. But I didn't really have training. But ultimately, was that a problem? Yeah, that was a big problem. That wasn't really the problem, though. Is the root cause of me was my perception, my mindset, my fear of how people were going to see me as a salesperson. He's pushy, he's heavy-handed, he's dishonest, which none of that is true. Not true how I do it, and the great ones don't do it that way. The great ones do it by solving problems. Okay, providing solutions, making sure value exceeds price, all those things. And so identify that root cause of the problem. Maybe your staff, when's the last time they worked out and used every piece of equipment, took every class, used every service that you have? When's the last time they did that? How often are they going through training? You start to look at some of this, and you can start to determine pretty quick what's the root cause of the problem. Okay, a lot of times it's training. We think we're doing it, but the clubs that do it great, it's every week. Say, let's just talk sales training. You'll have other kind of trainings too, but sales training every Wednesday at 11 o'clock, no matter what, with an agenda and a plan and a focus and a desired outcome. Okay, we're going to do it regular and consistent. You know, it's amazing when you do that and you stick with it. All of a sudden, you know, you're getting really good performance. You have very few slumps and you're doing regular training because you're constantly looking what's working well, what's not. We're fixing it. We're patting that train here. We're patting it here. We're keeping it going straight. And then the final thing on my list of how to coach underperforming gym sales reps is you have to ask yourself a bit, you know, does your management style, you know, pose a problem? Does your management style pose a problem? Because one of the things I always like to do, okay, we want to hold ourselves accountable. Our job, okay, is to give 100% of ourselves to make somebody else as good as they can be, okay? And does my management style cause a problem? Okay, you know, do you flourish in an atmosphere where you're getting recognition, where you're talking to the manager or the owner? You know, you're getting regular training. Do you like to be left alone? You know, what is their style? What do they like? Okay, and making sure, because it's hard to treat everybody the same, and part of this on that management style, I think, is really understanding your staff. And understanding, yeah, they're working there. Yeah, they want to make money. Okay, kind of common, right? But why? Just like we talk with our customer, why is that important to them? Okay, you know, are they a primary income earner, a secondary income earner? Are they going to school? You know, what else is happening? Why is this thing important to them? But ask yourself, is your management style kind of causing a problem? Because a lot of times, you know, we can get a little more heavy-handed than we need to be. You know, that pressure will get to us, or we just don't train. Well, I've already talked to him about that. Well, look, probably not good enough. Talk to him again. Okay, we want to coach him up. We want to, you know, keep that awareness high. Okay, so how to coach underperforming gym sales reps. If you're in management, you're going to be in management. Take a look at these things. See if they can help you take your business, you know, to that next level. So folks, again, my name's Jim Thomas. My company is Fitness Management and Consulting. And as I mentioned earlier, you know, my focus here on the channel is I want to be able to bring as much information as I can to as many people as I can, you know, across all regions. And the best way I can do that is when you choose to subscribe, when you choose to hit the like button, you choose to comment, you choose to share the information. So if you've not yet done so, please do that. As I mentioned earlier, I'm going to post the self-evaluation form. So if you're a channel member, click that join button. If you're a channel member, you'll be able to grab access to that, as well as other information that we have on there. And then to learn more about me, learn more about my company, and then additional ways that you can choose to support the channel, check out those links below. And we'll look forward to seeing you all in that next video.